Welcome to Tech Insights Today, the podcast where we unreveal the intricacies of cutting edge technologies and their impact on businesses. I'm your host Swetha, and in today's episode, we dive into the fascinating world of infrastructure management in the era of AI. In this rapidly evolving digital landscape where the boundaries between the physical and virtual world blurs, businesses are increasingly turning to artificial intelligence to optimize their infrastructure and stay ahead of the curve. Today, we'll explore how businesses can harness the power of AI to streamline their infrastructure management processes, reduce cost, and achieve operational excellence. We'll discuss the latest advancements in AI driven infrastructure management tools and techniques that empower businesses to stay agile, scalable, and resilient in the face of constant technological disruptions. Joining us today are Karthik, the founder of Cloudlight, and Sharath, the founder of Boltzmann Labs. These brilliant minds have been at the forefront of technological advancements, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the ever evolving landscape of AI and cloud computing. Karthik, a true visionary, established Cloudlight with a mission to democratize access to the cloud services, making them more accessible and affordable for businesses of all sizes. And joining Karthik is Sharath, a trailblazer in the field of artificial intelligence with his twin ventures, BS Labs and Boltzmann Labs. Sharath is transforming the way AI is developed and implemented across industries. Together, Karthik and Sharath represent the vanguard of tech innovation, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. So get ready to be inspired and gain insights into the mind of two brilliant tech innovators. Welcome, Karthik and Sharath. We're thrilled to have you both on the show.
Shweta, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, Karthik, I can hear you.
Okay. I just got few messages that is like people cannot hear me. That's why.
We can hear you, Karthik.
Okay. Okay, Shweta, let's deep dive into the session. Or are we
Yeah.
waiting? I think more people are joining right now. Welcome,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I think we are good to start, Swetha.
Okay. So, guys, my first question to you is what are your insights on today's topic, which is infrastructure management in the era of AI?
Yeah, as per this topic today, it's like I strongly believe that the world is slowly changing towards, processing more and more unstructured data, which was actually lying there as a reported data that's not insightful as well as not actionable data from so long. Now, with the advent of large language models, I think more and more companies are trying to figure out how to make this data more actionable. So I think this topic today is gonna be what's actually gonna happen in the coming at least next 6 months to 1 year. The whole industry is actually gonna transform towards processing more unstructured data and getting the insights out of them and making them more actionable. So that's exactly what I feel, especially when we are talking about AI in this current age.
Yes, Karthik. Sharath?
Yes, Swetha.
Yeah, yeah. Could you tell your insights on the topic today?
Yes. See, computational infrastructure is very from the last 40, 50 years for the businesses, but we are entering a new era where we'll be using compute exponentially. Previously, we were using on our personal computers, or else currently we are using cloud storage and multiple things we are using, but still the amount of compute we are using will exponentially increase. over the next 2 decades also. That's why infrastructure management is very, very key for all the businesses, and at the personal level also it's very, because everyone will be spending some amount of money for the compute, the personal level also.
Yeah, Sharat. So, keeping up with the pace, let's move on to the questions. With the increasing so the question is now, with the increasing adoption of AI technologies, has infrastructure management evolved to meet the demands of AI workload?
I won't actually say it evolved for the purpose of AI workloads, but actually speaking in general, it evolved out, to ensure that it will be able to take, the cloud providers will be able to take very large scale, computing applications also. So they'll be able to host very easily. I mean, it evolved out that way because the advent of, being more cloud native and more microservices getting on board and more applications which are spanned out using serverless technologies in general. It's like in general, actually, this thing got evolved out. But when it comes to AI related stuff, again, it's like I think the whole infrastructure evolved out getting things ready for AI. It seems like that. Instead of saying that, okay, now AI is here, now we have to change many things there. It's like we do many things actually led up to this point.
Yes.
Starting from storage or slowly, additions of different kinds of GPUs for, our computation. Advent of actually containerizations and more and more container orchestration using Kubernetes in general, and multi-cluster and multi-region kind of deployments in general. So all these things, helped to pan out actually made this entire thing possible. You can't actually say that, okay, for AI this got evolved and this got evolved, so AI comes in. It's like they're two different things. Actually speaking, this evolved out as applications should be able to scale for big size data, and slowly we are able to reach that scale to even perform terabytes of computations using our GPUs and stuff. So it evolved towards that direction. I don't think it's actually for the AI they got there.
Yeah, Karthik, that's a really good perspective. Moving on, the next question. What are the key considerations and challenges that organizations face when managing infrastructure for AI initiatives?
Sarath, hello? Sarath, do you want to lead that? Okay, I'll actually answer this question from my side.
Yeah.
If you see, especially when you talk about AI, right, it's like till now we do have a lot of structured data, and I should still say that only 10% of the data is structured. I mean, it's like most of it is completely unstructured. You talk about your logging systems, you talk about your what do you say, images in general, or let's say a lot of data which you collected from different internet, or let's say you scraped from different places in general. It's like that is a huge amount of data which remained unprocessed till date. And now because of the advent of LLMs to actually process this amount of data and get something insightful out, right? It's like now the things actually got evolved, and what organizations need to consider for this is like they need to consider different data management techniques, especially because it's like no data is useless right now, starting from your logs or even from your even different kinds of posts or different activities which are happening online, all these things. It's like they are highly valuable and they can be converted to something more actionable and more insightful. So the value of data got increased. So data management tools and techniques also need to improvise. So and next is scale in general. It's like it is not just data. It's also the amount of compute which someone need to perform to get some kind of an insight also increased drastically. I mean, you can call it like training, or you can also call it like inferences, right? In general, it's like the amount of compute you need actually got increased drastically. So we need to ensure that these organizations also need to structure the data, reprocess their data, and keep it in such a way that it's actually not going to incur such a huge cost on them to process it later on. Let's say vectorizing, different, chopping the data and vectorizing them and pre-processing it ready for the consumption for AI. It's something really good that can happen. And also, like, of course, definitely organizations also need to ensure that they are cost effective also, right? So
Yeah.
it is, especially when it comes to that point, they also need to know different techniques in general to ensure they can optimize on cost, like a spot, using spot instances, reserved instances in general, and using shared computes in general to process this kind of a data. It's like that is something they have to keep in mind. They should be well aware of a cost and practicality of what they are doing. And next is security. They should ensure that this data or these models which they are generating, I mean, it has become more valuable than before. At the same time, it's actually has become more impactful than before. Now that's the whole reason where now the security around your data need to be better than before.
Yeah,
Just
cyber security is the most happening right now.
True. Not just cyber security. If you see now, you are doing AI ML, machine learning, right? For example,
Yeah.
now you are processing the data and you're trying to create a model which you wanted to personalize contents for your user. For example, you have a small social networking website, or it can be like an e-commerce website. What if the data which is coming to you is already biased? I mean, it's like someone trying to, feed in wrong data from outside, right? So all these kinds of security measures should also be taken care, starting from different data which is generated outside the organization, even inside the organization, the way it is being processed, and having no bias in general on the model and stuff. So there are many measures which need to be taken. Before, it used to be like, okay, it's a data, so nobody should have access to it. So now it went beyond that also.
Yeah.
So that these are the few things, and at the same time, of course, it's like people also have to think more about distributing your workloads also. See, training, for example, if you're training the models, that is definitely going to be costly. But at the same
Yeah.
time, let's say if you actually try to process the model and inferences, and actually you do the inferences at the edge compute level itself, right? It's like it's actually going to save a lot of cost for us. So people also have to understand how do we use edge computing to ensure that it's easy for us to I mean, it's like to run these models more effectively.
Yes.
And definitely one thing for sure of all these, people have to ensure that they have to write their applications in a cloud native way. See, there
Yes.
is always a huge difference between what is a cloud computing and cloud nativity in general. So
Exactly.
this misconception should be first of all clarified very clearly, because whenever people go out and pitch that, okay, we are being cloud native, it's not actually they're being cloud native. They are just running their applications on the cloud. But in
Okay.
reality, writing applications cloud native is totally different from simply being on the cloud.
Yeah, being on the cloud and maintaining the data there.
Yes, true. That's the whole point, right? It's like even a cloud native application, you will be
Yes.
able to run it on the edge compute outside the data centers also.
Right.
Actually speaking, cloud native means it's a way of writing your applications. How do you chop your applications into multiple microservices? How do you ensure that they're segregated accordingly so that you will be able to reach different future scales needed? So
Yes.
that is something which people need to really think about before going towards cloud native. I mean, they should know that are they just deploying application on the cloud? Are they actually writing application cloud natively? They're two different things, and they should understand this also. So these are the
Yeah.
key considerations which I think that different industries to need to go through and take care of when they're actually talking about managing infrastructure on for AI.
Yeah, Karthik.
Yeah.
So, my next question is, keeping up with the security and privacy in mind,
Mm-hmm.
what are the security and privacy implications that organizations should be mindful of when managing infrastructure for AI, and how they can be address these concerns?
See, I already mentioned it before, right? It's like the data can be coming from multiple sources.
Yes.
And before, it used to be simply having get the data onto the system and just ensure that it is secure enough that nobody will be able to have access, and ensure that after some limit, it's like you're deleting the data so that you also follow some compliances. So this is what it used to be before, but
Yes.
now it is more like data pour into the system. You have to process the data because data will be in the system for some time, definitely because of compliance in general. And at the same time, the model which you are building should be unaffected because of the different kinds of data which is pouring in from multiple sources. It can become a bot can be actually feeding your data,
Yes.
right? Or
Yes.
the AI can be feeding you the data for now. That also can happen, right? It's like so. For example, best example, it's like what I can say is there is a company which is doing AI facial recognition. What if so much of data is fed into that system where actually one particular face is always going to say yes, right? It's completely biased. It's like
Yeah.
all the
Right.
data only, right, at the end.
Yes.
So
That could be a big problem.
yeah, that these are the small things which people, I mean, this is a new problem. It's not like see, it's because of the AI. It's like AI is not if you see what you consider a model is, it's the data is fed and the data is discarded also.
Yeah.
What remains back in the model is just the weights you're seeing, right? It's like once it is gotten, right, it's a black box. You can't actually, again, you have to completely discard the entire model.
Yes.
You can't actually go back and remove those false entries also, right? So
Yes.
the security is the prime, I mean, it's like data security need to be taken care at different levels and at each and every different sources also. For
Yeah. It
example,
should be
not
structurized better.
yes, it's like data flowing through different systems and data coming from different external third party sources, even internal sources also. You need to ensure that everything is tagged and there is no spam or there is no fraudulent data or biased data feeding into the systems in general. So these are all these things which need to be taken care. Uh, so that's exactly what I have in mind. I mean, especially most of the cloud providers provide good data, good security around the data about how to access the data and how to retrieve the data and how to encrypt the data. They never actually
Yes.
provide you ways to validate your sources in general also. So that's a new layer of what is it security which you have to build on your own based on your own application.
Yes. Karthik, that's a good insight. So, as we already spoke about the cloud computing and cloud nativity difference, now my next question is what role does cloud computing play in the infrastructure management for AI? And what are the benefits and considerations of utilizing cloud services?
See, when it comes to cloud computing in general, right? It's like we evolved ourselves starting from a bare metal machines to slowly we try to virtualize it to VMs. And then
Yes.
now we are actually again going back to much more smaller ways and virtualizing them to containers also. So actually we wanted to ensure that we have as much flexibility as possible so that you can redesign and restructure your system in multiple ways. So actually, thankfully, more and more cloud computing providers, public cloud providers now, they're already supporting containerization and they also have they also support open source technologies like Kubernetes for container orchestration in general. So they're already taking a lot of steps to ensure that they won't be I mean they'll be helping us to go towards, I mean, push things towards cloud native.
Yes.
So that is there. And next is what I should say is see, these guys have a lot of compute. I mean, because these are not providing compute just for one tenant. They are providing it for multiple tenants in general. So
Yes.
they are at the right place for you to provide the best service at the best possible price. For example, no normal infrastructure providers, like let's say data center providers in the world, will be able to provide you pay as you go models.
Yes.
Because they need guaranteed, I mean, they need some kind of guarantee that you will be on their system for you to provide some kind of discount in general.
Yes.
But that is not possible from our side also. But when it comes to public cloud providers, they have so many tenants that actually they have so much of shared resources. So they come up with really beautiful provisions for us, especially like pay as you go models, especially when it comes to containers, data, serverless computes in general. So, I mean, even on the edge compute also, it's like they actually deploy these functions in different, edge data centers in general. So these are the guys who will be able to, provide more deeper scale than someone who is actually building their own infrastructure in general, because it will be too costly for someone to actually go with a single tenant and actually do all these. But
Yes,
if it is
that's
multi-tenant,
exactly right.
yeah.
So, my next question would be, as we spoke, that AI models are becoming larger and more complex, right?
Mm.
So now, how can we organize effectively and manage the storage and processing requirement of these models?
See, it all depends on the kind of data we process and the kind of model we build in general. Let me talk about what is actually gonna be happening in general, right? Let's talk about 90% of the industry which is actually doing inferencing,
Yes.
not model building. That is actually is gonna evolve in that direction. So let's talk about the 90% of the industry, right?
Yeah.
So uh, first of all, uh, how to effectively ensure that these models need to be processed, right? It's like I believe let me actually stick myself to only LLMs and text models to start with. Later I'll talk about the other models, and maybe Sharath will give a much more deeper understanding on, I mean, deeper better answer for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Sharat told that he got some urgent work or emergency work, so
okay,
he said
okay,
he'll be
okay.
joining.
Okay, then anyway, I'll try to give some insight here.
Yeah, yeah.
So what actually is happening here is it's the lot and lots of data is coming in, but if you see AI, we need to provide a context for the AI. It's like for each and every question is actually going to be very costly for someone to actually process this entire context and then give you a proper answer. So there are some ways which actually and techniques which we can follow so that people will be able to process this data more effectively. One of it is like ensuring that, of course, short ensuring that your model is as enriched as possible. So LLMs are already enriched enough right now. I mean, we are actually able to get around 1,500 parameters out from a simple what should I say? It's embedding. So when we are actually able to process it so much, it's like they're already well versed and they actually have a lot of data where they're trained with. So they already have enough data that which they're trained from. Now comes how do we build the long term memory also for your AI? It's more like using embeddings. That's a technique which we can follow. I don't know whether I'll be able to cover this in this session itself or not. But the best way, I'll try to put it as small as possible. So
Yeah,
when you have an unstructured data, you can actually chop it to small chunks and convert that into different embeddings. And these embeddings you can actually store in your vector databases that actually acts as your long term memory. So whenever you wanted to take a decision or search for a particular context, you provide the query and create an embedding out of it, and you will be able to get the entries which are around that query itself. So now you provide your model with this context which you searched right now. I
yes.
think I'm a bit confusing you guys. Let's actually put it this way. Uh, so now you have a small website. In this website, you are actually planning to provide a small search engine which is completely powered by NLP. Simple example.
Yeah,
If you have to traditionally build this, you have to feed the entire website every time you are actually asking AI for any small question. You need to feed this entire one, how many MB data, let's say 3 MB, 4 MB, or 10 MB data of your
yeah,
entire website. You'll feed it to AI and you'll ask one question and you'll get an answer out of it.
yes,
The point is, it's like AI processing your entire 1 MB or 2 MB or 10 MB of data every time you're asking this question. It's not a scalable model. So, what you usually will do is like instead of actually giving this entire context every time, why not we design a system where you have already created small chunks of data where you can give it to AI as a context instead of giving the entire 2 MB or 10 MB context,
Yes.
giving
Right.
just 1 KB context.
Right.
So I don't want to explain how we build the system. It's more like, but we can actually ensure that you will be able to provide a precise context what you're looking for when you're asking a query. This is one of the very small examples. It's like there are many examples and many techniques in
Yeah.
the industry where you will be able to optimize your compute there. So one more example is, let's say, if you wanted to have a system where you just wanted to see what you just wanted to see, get all the images of red cars.
Okay.
So if you have to do something like that, you pre-process the data while you're feeding in and you index it using your vectors.
Hmm.
So that later you simply ask for, I need red cars. Immediately you'll get all the red cars from your database.
Yes.
You don't actually try to process your entire database every time.
Exactly.
These are small techniques. I mean, it's like, see, it completely varies from system to system. It varies from the way you are training the data also. And it may be totally different from for Bolchem, for example. They are doing it for molecules. And it may be totally different for people who are actually doing for images. So that's exactly what I have in mind. It's like it varies, but you have many techniques to ensure that you optimize your compute for better performance and better results.
Yeah, Karthik. That's actually a brief answer. Yeah. So my next question would be, actually, I'm an IT student representing AI now. So this question is really interesting for me too. How does infrastructure management differ for AI compared to traditional IT infrastructure, and what requirements does AI present?
See, anyone who is managing infrastructure in general need to know the basics of different techniques. Definitely, they should be knowing what cloud native means, and they should also be knowing what how do we deploy systems in general, or how do we scale systems in general, data backups, and all these things that do exist as is. It's a traditional IT job. It's already there. So, what is the addition? I'm going to talk about that now. So you should also be knowing, I mean, the people who are managing infrastructure for especially AI workloads, they should also know more about different frameworks which and different pipelines which are being used for especially AI workloads. Starting from maybe how to set up the GPU machines, how to set up their drivers in different cloud providers, and how to pre-fill, how to actually optimize containers to spin out much faster, especially by techniques like uh, pre-filling the libraries in general from the host machines and stuff. So reducing the container sizes. And third is like they also should know the techniques of how to manage large scale data, and how do we provide those data to the GPU workloads. So these are the extra delta which I think people should know while dealing with IT infrastructure for AI workloads.
Yeah.
And maybe actually Sarath will be having more insight into this, but I think it's like
Unfortunately, he couldn't join us right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Karthik.
Bolcam
So,
only. It's like while we are giving this service to Bolcam, we actually saw a few things, right? Few techniques which we used where we wanted GPU machines from different worlds. I mean, it's like we do have data running from GPU, Google Cloud data. We wanted to be hosting in on AWS Kubernetes instances, and these AWS Kubernetes instances should be spanned across multiple regions. So definitely there is a vast amount of knowledge which is needed for an infra ops engineer to set up different kinds of cloud providers, bringing them together and trying to build the entire pipeline out. That is exactly what someone should be capable of while dealing with AI related workloads. And most importantly, the the most important skill what I believe is all his skills should be cloud agnostic. He should ensure that he or she should ensure that. So That's exactly is my insight, at least from my perspective, about what kind of skills are needed.
Yeah. So, my next question would be in the perspective of students. Okay.
Mm.
How does infrastructure management in the era of AI
Mm.
impact the skill set and roles of IT professional and data scientists within organizations?
I thought this was your previous question, right? It's okay. So it is
Yeah.
the
It is actually in addition to that.
okay. It's by the way, I don't actually say it's gonna impact, because impact usually goes with, it's a wrong word. It always will be like it goes in a negative sense. I always put it like evolve instead of impact there. So the role in their organizations will definitely evolve out as because there used to be one set of applications. We used to have web applications.
Yes.
Slowly, we got out with mobile applications also, where API centric world slowly started out, where more and more APIs started flowing in. Before it used to be like only HTMLs, JSPs,
Yes.
Java
Only
Server
related
Pages,
to web.
whatever you call it, right? That's all old school. Then comes APIs in general. So
Yes.
what I strongly believe is like moving further, a new era of applications will also start pouring in. I mean, it's like people will start hosting inferences to ensure to have insightful data and actionable data also. So for that, it's like more and more applications will slowly start evolving out, especially around lang chains, most probably. Langchain is promising. Just not just Langchain, it's like Langchain. It's like many frameworks where you will be able to build different kinds of pipelines and ensuring that you create an actionable application. These are the kinds of applications which are going to evolve out. So definitely the roles inside the organizations also will evolve in that way, is what I feel. It's
Yeah.
no.
This question actually why we asked was
Hmm.
nowadays the BTech is like not only related to the degree. It is
Uh-huh.
BTech plus the skill set what you have. The
Uh-huh.
the everything depends on like the skill set. BTech degree is as a definite thing. Everybody is getting and
Hmm.
like that. So it is all about if you want to get a placement or placed in any company, it all depends on the skill set that we have.
Got it. Got it. See, actually, one thing, if you don't actually run behind the, I should say, job or placement perspective. I mean, that's the advice I usually
Exactly.
give. Don't ever run behind that. It's not gonna help in any way. But
Yes.
I know people who never cared about that kind of a career in general, but who really excelled. I mean, it's like now career will run behind them. I actually know such kind of a people. It's like you should. What I strongly believe is like see, the things will change, and by the way, with the current pace, the things are going to change much faster.
Yeah, exactly.
So you should be. It's not like before where okay, you will learn one skill and you are going to be safe. There
Yes.
is no such thing at all anymore. By
Yes.
the way, it's actually going to evolve in such a pace where in next 6 months itself, it's like the things whatever we used to do, they're no more there. So you need to be catching up on many
Yeah,
things.
we should keep up with
So,
the pace.
yes, sir. So definitely it's going to be competing world. I'm not going to say I'm going to not going to lie about anything there.
Yes.
But what I should say is to even win such kind of a world also, the only way out would be like you try to do and try to understand and do what exactly you wanted, instead of trying to chase behind a job and have a checklist of okay, these are the skills I wanted to clear off and then I had to go ahead. So
Right.
the moment you do it, it's like it's gone. I mean, you're already losing the race there.
Yeah. We should
So
always be evolving with the technology that is coming.
yeah, and it's actually going to be in much faster pace. I mean, everyone should be aware that it's like it is going to be running much faster than before,
Yes.
and a new era of applications are also slowly coming in, and the new ways of deployments are coming in, and it's actually going to be a new, totally different world. I think down the line, it's like it's not even going to take
Yeah.
an year. Also, I feel.
The work will be mostly done by the AI.
No, I don't say that also, but I believe that work will be done by the best people only.
Exactly. That.
Huh.
So my final question would be for you is
Mhm.
looking ahead, What trends and advancements do you anticipate in infrastructure management for AI? And what steps can organization can take to stay ahead of the curve?
See, first of all, let's divide it into two pieces. What's the first piece of the question?
Looking ahead, what trends and advancements do you anticipate in infrastructure management for AI?
Okay, let me first answer that piece.
Yeah.
So, see, actually, the whole definition of AI and ML got changed also a bit. Before we used to create a, we used to have a data, and we give that data as input, categorize or train it, create a small model, and that model used to do the inferencing. So this is what it used to be, what used to be like AI now before. Now what's actually happening is with the advent of generative AI, it's more and more things are actually going towards large models, large scale models like LLMs, where which require less amount of data to train, and their inferencing is also much faster. Of course, hosting them will be like a very costly process in general, but still, when you actually compare with the amount of time you spend to train a model, it is not going to be it's definitely, it's like hosting an LLM is much better option when compared to that of
Training.
the training. So this is exactly what's happening now. So things are moving towards bigger models. Now comes, if
What
you see
steps
from
can
the,
organizations take?
yes, first of all, now comes this, like if you see our organizations in general, they have been collecting a huge amount of data for compliance
Yes.
purpose, for reporting purpose. These are reporting systems, that's it.
Yes.
So no.
Hello? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is more like more and more systems. Organizations used to collect a lot of data, but they never actually had a chance to act on. I mean, definitely, big organizations which invested a lot of time in general, like Netflix or Amazon, they built awesome recommendation APIs in general. But
Yes.
now it's like with the advent of these LLMs, now anyone will be able to build these systems. I mean, now the data which has been lying there for so long, starting from your user logs, access logs, or different kinds of binary data if needed, or it can be audits of the system in general. It can be different kinds of metrics data. So all these things has now become suddenly actionable now.
Yeah.
So what I strongly believe in is like now with this advent of LLMs, it's like more and more companies are gonna utilize this 80% or 90% of unutilized, unstructured data. All of a sudden, along with the structured data, it's gonna combine, and the data has become more valuable now. Definitely, people used to say that data is my asset before, right?
Yes.
Now that actually changed a bit. I mean, it's like now it is becoming more valuable now. It So what I strongly believe is with this kind of an insightful, data out, it's like if you're not able to, use AI or better technologies in general to make this data actionable, it's like you will be, what you say, out of competition. That's what that this is the word I can go for.
Yeah.
So, they have to evolve out, and they have to ensure that they make more insightful and actionable data using the evolving technologies. If they don't, they're gone.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I can say
Yeah.
to the companies who are evolving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good statement, I could say.
Mhm. And
So do you want to add anything, Karthik? Oh, that's it from my side.
no, no,
Let's
I
enjoy.
really wanted to, take more questions from audience in general also. And also, if they do also have different perspectives and they have ideas,
Yeah, yeah,
I
it is open for them.
yeah,
The
I
stage
welcome
is
more
open.
people to actually get in and try to you know give their insight also. More of us will be able to benefit from it,
Yeah.
guys.
So guys, the stage is open to you. You can ask your queries. We'll answer you.
Hello, guys.
Yeah,
You can.
Karthik.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask these guys to raise their
Okay.
hand if needed, or
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I wanted to invite few people, but I don't know whether they'll feel comfortable or not.
Okay.
Shubham, do you want to join? Hello. Requested invite to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm Abhishek.
Hey, Abhishek.
So my question is, can we relate AI to other different multi-domains for getting more accurate results?
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, it depends on how do you want it to, integrate also. So if you see different LLMs, they're providing their different ways to integrate. So if it is, I'm talking about only LLM and text data related, but there, are
Yeah,
there are multiple ways for you to, put in different other kinds of data also, like image related data in general. And I mean, it can be about.
sensors.
Hmm. I'll give a best example for this. uh, let's say for infra world only, right? It's like you with the you will be able to build a model where I'll give an example of LLM only. It's like you heard about ChatGPT plugins, right?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Yes, and the best example is ChatGPT plugin only. It's like you just expose your API endpoints to make it more actionable. And once you ask GPT to go and spin out your infrastructure, like you spin out infra of my complete application, reading from so and so GitHub repository, it will be actually able to do it end to end. So it is all about how do you provide it, train it, or nowadays they're calling it like prompt engineering it. So that is exactly is happening. I mean, this is one small use case, but it completely differs, right? It can be used. This can be also used for curing cancer. I heard about that, and it can also be used for better image recognitions. And with small amount of data itself, you'll be able to categorize images much faster. Um, Different things. I mean, I think Sharath will give you totally different insights on into how they are using it, generative AI in creating molecules. So that this is my answer. I mean, it's like it can be used in many other industries also,
Yeah,
not just.
Sharath will answer it better because he's related to AI for sciences, right? Biology, chemistry, and everything.
Yes, yes. Actually speaking, I can actually answer more of infrastructure questions definitely. But
Exactly.
with my insight, what I had, it's like there are tons of applications where you will be able to apply.
Yeah, Abhishek, thank you for coming forward and asking.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik, sir, and AI science girl for responding.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey Karthik, I have a question for you. How do you look at um, uh, exclusive services for AI infrastructure? Like for example, like for application hosting, like we had Heroku and Render and
Mm.
Hotnets, right? Like how are you looking at services coming up in this space, and what's your take on that?
Especially for this, right?
Yeah, with,
By
especially
the
with
way,
respect to like models and AI.
there is my friend also. It's like Shubham, who's already in this group right now, audience. He's kind of experimenting on this, building a small POC on that. But I'll actually explain it. The plus positives and negatives of it, right? So I strongly believe that many companies need AI for different purposes to for their customer engagement needs, for make them more conversions in general, or it can be for better recommendations, but better user experience in general. So multiple things so they can use their AI, right? So it always there is a border between what they wanted to use it for, what they don't want to use it for. So the moment it start reaching that point where they don't want to use it for, that's when it's more like they don't want to use external services. Uh, let's say take a small e-commerce website. If they wanted to generate their own recommendation engine and they don't want to give their customer data out to any kind of outside world, depending on the scale of the company, depending on the compliance they're going through, they may actually use an existing solution which is available in the market, like a pass solution, or they can also host their own model inside their company, and they'll use inferences on that itself. So there are two ways of doing it, but it's their choice completely. But I strongly believe that enterprises will have this tendency to ensure that everything is running on their own infrastructure. But I strongly believe that at least 80% of the companies are not enterprises, and they will immediately consume it what is available in the market. So I strongly believe that in next coming 1 to 2 years, more PaaS solutions like Heroku are going to be evolved out, building different pipelines, integrating with different kinds of LLMs like OpenAI. It can be Google's, or it can be even many open source models. It's like they'll be able to easily integrate, and they can build their own actionable systems easily. I mean, I'm sensing that it's actually going to happen in next this year itself. I mean, more companies are going to evolve out. So who is going to stand out? That's a different thing. But there's a huge demand for this.
Right.
But actually speaking, if you want to sell this to an enterprise company, right, big companies in general, I don't think they are going to buy this because they wanted it
I
hosted.
do agree with the enterprise challenge, but let me take example of myself, right? Like I am as an individual developer, I want to explore some functionalities of the AI and learn some models. Like it's not very easy or straightforward, right? Like I'm obviously looking for solutions that are like
True.
as simple as the Heroku or like something, right? Like where I can just go like and click off a button, like I just pay some dollars and get the service started.
Exactly. I'm actually telling you this is actually going to happen. Actually speaking, that is the most convenient thing. I'm actually seeing it. If there is a possibility, I would like to even invest into that. That is actually going to be what's going to happen next, because it's not even big companies. Even sometimes people also wanted to use it for their own personal purpose also. I actually see some people using it that way. For business purpose also it's there, and even for personal purpose also. And I strongly believe PaaS solutions for hosted and managed AI tools is actually going to happen pretty soon. I mean, I strongly believe that it's actually going to be bigger than infrastructure industry.
Right.
I mean, in public cloud provider industry, I mean.
Got it. Yeah, waiting to see somebody there.
Yeah, I'll invite Shubham. Dude, I want to invite Shubham. I think I don't know whether he's in this. Okay. Any questions, guys?
Someone is typing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Next coder wants to speak.
Yeah. First, the Gagan joined. Let's actually go with Gagan, then
Yeah.
Anshu. Yeah. Ganga. Yeah, Ganga Prasad. Sorry.
Ganga Prasad.
Yeah, hi guys. So
Hi, Ganga Prasad.
yeah, basically like I need to know the best practices are in place for monitoring, scaling, and securing the Kubernetes infrastructure.
Okay. Monitoring, scaling, and securing. If that's the thing, it's like definitely the best practices if you wanted to go for. I'll give a small thing. It's like not a big list. It's some list. You need to ensure that all the containers are running in non-privileged mode, and you need to ensure that your logs and your metrics are streamed into valid sources, and I mean there are actually a lot of check. It's a huge checklist in general. I think it's like I'll do one thing. I'll actually send you a list and material, Ganga Prasad. I mean, that's actually a very huge topic in securing Kubernetes in general.
Okay.
I'll do that from cloud. I do have a material on this. It's like I'll send it across Ganga.
Okay. So and
I think he wants to know more in the context of AI. I guess.
yeah.
In the context of AI, yes. Then it is okay. Ganga Prasad, you tell. Sorry.
No, no.
development.
How in general we are like following, and how these AI models will replace in the security terms.
AI definitely not going to replace security. Security is more like a rule engine, which is always going to be executed at every protocol in general. It's not going to be replaced by intelligence. It's a rule engine always. So if you think about the security using AI, AI can enhance security, but not gonna do the real security for sure. That's what that is point number one. And second, for example, like fraud detections in general, AI can do. And the second thing is, especially when you talk about Kubernetes in general, I mean, you need to be, especially when it comes to AI, you need to be more careful about the data,
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you started consuming a lot of data than before. I mean, sometimes even GBs and TBs of data per minute you're actually consuming and feeding it to the models in general, right? So with that amount of data in motion, it's you need to be taking a huge amount of security. I mean, it's like you should ensure that the data is encrypted on the go. At the same time, you should be able to efficiently decrypt it and immediately provide insightful answers that need to be taken care. But how to do that is a totally different thing altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, we have multiple ways. We do encrypt and decrypt the data in motion, and while persisting, we do again encryptions and decryptions in general, and we need to do mutual TLS between source and destinations. So these are few things. It's like we always keep in mind, should keep in mind. So, but how do we implement this? It's like we have multiple ways to implement this, but this is a start. I mean, this is a place where we can start.
Okay. So is this best practice like using AI models for cost optimization?
I first of all, the cost optimization AI models, right? That is something which I still didn't explore. I'm still exploring this part where because when it comes to cost optimization, it is more about you will be able to optimize when you're able to predict. So when you are predicting and when you're actually taking an action, it's actually gonna affect you back also, right? So you need to have a large amount of data to create such kind of a model. So actually speaking, it is possible. Actually, it is a really good idea, but it will definitely work on scale. That's what I believe for cost optimization.
Okay.
It's not going to work for a small tenant which 2-3 VMs. Okay, I'm going to optimize his cost using AI. It's not going to happen. If you're actually running a huge company like a Swiggy or Amazon, where actually they are like millions of dollars they are spending just for the infrastructure, there definitely AI is going to play a very huge role in optimizing the systems.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Karthik.
Yep. Anshuman.
Hello, hi guys. I
Yeah.
have been interested in like the personal AI thing that we discussed with like Hari sir. Like, but I am a bit skeptical about like what would be the cost of running my personal AI models because as of now the all the learning models that we are seeing like they are super big, like a couple billions of parameters. They are super big and so huge. And like, will it be like optimum for me to use it for my personal use case also? And if somehow I'm able to like manage it to run all those AI models for my personal use case, will I
Mhm.
be able to like keep track of all the security enhancements and everything that would go through that AI model in its like tenure and active?
See, that's where Hari mentioned this, right? See, not everyone is capable of setting up this entire system, starting with security, pipelines, processing the data, consuming the data, everything. It's like definitely no one will be able to build it from ground up completely. And when it comes to personal systems, and no user is actually going to build one application on his own for his own purpose. But what I strongly believe is like definitely a PaaS solution will give a good answer for this. Now comes your first question of about the security, right? Or
Yeah, the first question was about the cost. Like I
Hmm.
get it, like because the data is too big to actually like all the existing LLMs, like they are like so big. So they need a huge infrastructure to run also that is almost not feasible for anyone to run it for his personal use case.
That is actually speaking. That is one more thing, Anshuman. Actually, I digged a bit into it. Actually speaking, it is not so costly to run as big model as I mean, OpenAI GPT's model. I don't know about GPT-4, but GPT-3 you will be able to run, and it will be on an affordable infrastructure on your own. Also, it is possible because you are not actually serving it for everyone in the world, right? You are actually serving for you only. So accordingly, that scale will differ and it will be reduced also. At the same time, when you are talking about a personal use case, right, when you're actually asking for a personal use case, you can also go on a shared hosting. It's like you can even share that compute wherever that LLM is hosted. It's like that can be on a shared system where you can actually share the cost with different people, or you can directly go ahead and you have many pay as you go models based on number of API calls. They'll be charging you based on number of tokens. They'll be charging you. If you see,
Like
even
what?
OpenAI, it is damn cheap actually.
Yeah, but like as soon as I delegate it to a third party like OpenAI or Hugging Face, the
Huh.
thing it would be like, how can I be sure about my personal data is not part of a bigger training model? Like the same use case with like Copilot.
That is there. Actually speaking, that's where the
It has
compliance.
got because like the Copilot has like you can say like GitHub repos have a licensing thing, so that the model only trains on the public license or the permissive licenses. But when
Mhm.
it's my personal data, it's almost non-shareable to anyone. Like how can I be ensuring that? Or any licenses are there or
That is
any in pipeline that would help me ensure that?
okay. There are two ways, Anshuman. First of all, definitely there are models which are slowly coming in, which are gonna be, which you will be able to host it on your own infrastructure. That they're coming right now already. That is there. And second, what I should say is, but it's definitely they're a bit costly, but not as costly as you're thinking. They're affordable for a single user. They are there already. Next, it is again when it comes to companies like OpenAI, they are under a lot of scrutiny. They have to follow the compliance. They should not store the data, and but they are processing your data with your permission. You can say that okay, don't use it for training. It's only for inferencing. So then they won't be training it. It's like the data will come and it will answer you, and it's gone completely out of their system also. So you can anonymize the data and also go with that. And there are also some services which I heard they're actually coming. It's where like it's not actually going to come from one source. It is actually coming from multiple sources where they won't be able to make a context out of it. So your data is, I don't say secure in general, but actually relatively secure than before. So there are
Like,
things
but the
like that.
thing is like with code, like we have like GPT licenses, no MIT license, Apache license. Like they have a like a at least you have a document that says like what you can do and what you cannot do.
Hmm.
Do we have anything about our personal data when it is going to a third party AI service and all?
They do, actually speaking, in these data itself. They
Not just
provide.
for yeah,
Huh.
yes.
No, we don't. I don't know whether we do have such kind of a licensing or not, but it will all be mentioned in the privacy policy of the companies when you're opting for their APIs. So they clearly will mention what they are going to do with your data, if they are going to train your data or not. Also, if they are properly visible. So based on that, you can have an informed decision whether to use those models or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
I
it
think what
won't be like an opt-in model, like I can
yeah.
opt to share this portion of my data to everyone to train, and this portion is just exclusive to me. Just like
Yes.
just like
For
we do in
example,
our code bases, like
yeah, for example, in OpenAI, they're actually giving a way for you to switch off that version where it's like you don't want to have chart history, you don't want to give chart history for training, so you can switch off that thing. So they won't actually use your data anymore. I mean, they're compelled not to use your data anymore.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that answers.
Hmm. So
Do you want me to speak? Should I go ahead?
yeah,
Hey,
Shubham.
Yeah,
Karthik.
please continue.
Sorry, man. I was on the call. Hey,
Uh-huh.
I think before this meeting as well, like I was discussing with you about generative AI, right? So
Hmm.
we already have. I don't know if people are aware of like Amazon Sales Maker. It's already there. Like people are doing, like Netflix is already doing stuff to build their recommendation model around that, right? But
Hmm.
when it comes to the generative AI, that created a lot of buzz among the industry, right? And everybody is feeling uh,
Hmm.
like running behind that, so that people should not uh, people should not leave behind compared to like their competitor, right? When it
Uh-huh.
comes to generative AI, I feel like most of the people are mostly doing stuff related to like improving security and compliance. Like let's say if I'm building a fintech company, I might need to do
Hmm.
PCI DSS stuff, HIPAA compliance. If I'm doing like medtech maybe, so HIPAA compliance. There are a lot of compliances and stuff. And other things is like scanning containers, images, and all those things, like automated stuff. These things are fine, I mean, but I really want to visualize how this generative AI is gonna take place for provisioning interest. When we don't know the thing, let's say we just give it access to the source code and how it's gonna work. Like this is a very general purpose question. I really want to know like what's your take on this and how do you visualize things gonna go on this part especially.
So especially when it goes to a general purpose AI, how exactly this is going to evolve? How is going? Actually, I think you were asking how exactly this is going to replace developers. In short, right? Yeah. Is it?
Not replacing. I mean, I'm just fascinated with the thing like how we are generating the image. Like, let's say I'm just gonna give a prompt, like create a, dog image in the space with in the style of Van Gogh. It gonna generate Dali for me, right? Similarly,
Hmm.
for how things gonna go. Like, I just don't want to stick with the in like a lot of people are talking about security and compliance. It's done. It's already done. I mean, people are doing that. Uh, it's just that people were not talking about. Now everybody is writing, they are AI and all those things just to
Hmm.
be part of that, AI buzz. I really want to visualize things, how this thing gonna evolve in sense of this provisioning infrastructure. I mean, although, I mean, if I want to create exactly the same infra how Netflix has created for themselves, obviously it's not gonna possible because it's not publicly available. But how do you feel it's gonna evolve in the ecosystem?
Uh, Definitely see where the information ends, there the creativity begins, right? Just like that, it's more like if the information like how Netflix built its infrastructure is not available, based on
Mhm.
whatever outputs are there, it's like even as humans we also try to predict that okay, this is a best architecture what is possible to build a Netflix. We don't even know whether that's the same architecture which they are using inside or not. In that way
Mhm.
maybe it's like we'll be getting inside out where this is the architecture of Netflix. It's like AI will be able to generate based on different
Mhm.
sources it have, based on best practices or different materials it actually had before, right? It's like the generative AI will be able to provide that, and
Mhm.
provided their proper plugins and actions to this AI, it's like you will be even able to create that infrastructure also. I mean, it will slowly go towards that direction. Definitely, your vision of actually seeing that happen is I'm seeing that it is possible and it's slowly going to come there. I see there is a tool called Telegraph, I think. Telegraph.
I want to add
So,
more context to it. Like,
uh,
obviously, these generative AI became. Uh, I mean, it got trained on the public available data in the form of image, text, or whatever it is, like including the code, right? If
hmm.
and now they are when it comes to design as well, like they are moving ahead, like just draw the some wireframes in the paper and just take the snap of it, and it will give you the React components, maybe, in
Yeah,
the
it is
same way.
already doing it.
Yeah, in the same way, I'm thinking like if there is a possibility, like there will be like more and more repository, or maybe there is some new GitHub itself. I don't know. I'm just giving a wild guess. Okay, where people are going to maintain their architecture design, and maybe there will be next generation like generative AI for providing infrastructure maybe.
Hmm. That is definitely there. I'll be hoping for
But
that
if there
coming
is
up.
a case, do you think what do you think to look for? I'm giving in a context like what kind of tool or what kind of thing people should look for.
I'll give a small example where some guys or some people, they're already trying to build out at least not in a way of creating infrastructure, but at least on the managing infrastructure side. There is like teleport is one of the tool which is able to you will be able to query and get access and scan your infrastructure and act on your infrastructure with
Mhm.
simple chat messages. So, I mean, it's like it's to manage your infrastructure, not provisioning your infrastructure to start with. But eventually, it
Yeah.
is actually going to go till that point also. Once it is capable, it's
Mhm.
like once you actually add more actions, and it's like it's actually going to act and scale your infrastructure also.
Mhm.
So there are slowly some things which are slowly coming there. Teleport is one example I can give as of today. They created a small native agent where you directly talk to it and it can go and execute commands for you over Kubernetes, and it will give an actionable, I mean, it will act on also.
Yeah. Again, this is like more of like
Uh-huh.
automate
Definitely,
automation
yeah.
and mm,
Ye- Yes, yes. Actually, this may evolve slowly into that direction. I believe that.
yeah. Also, one question like people were asking about the pass for LLM, right?
Hmm?
Why people gonna leave SageMaker maybe? Let's say, and gonna
Okay.
use pass. Why do you think so?
Okay. Amazon's. Oh, you're talking about, okay, SageMaker. Okay, I'll put it this way, guys. When it comes to
I mean,
SageMaker,
this serves the same purpose. I mean, they
I'll
provide
put
Jupyter
it this
Notebook
way.
and all.
Actually, SageMaker is kind of, I should say that there are two eras of AI. I mean, ML. I don't call it AI. ML.
Yeah.
We are in the
Yeah.
new era of ML. Not actually, it's like in the new era of ML, what actually is happening here is instead of using and creating a new models on your own, you are relying on existing, large models or LLMs. So your SageMaker is actually not designed. It is actually designed to curate and process the data and create normal models in general. It's for training purpose and stuff. But now the things are coming. We are coming out of that box, and instead of actually creating and training the models, which is usually complex process for many companies in general. So now more companies are just processing the data and feeding it to a LLM and get an actionable insight out of it. So it is actually now less complex than before, right? Before it used to be like you had to process the data, you had to extract different parameters out, and all these parameters you have to feed in and accordingly create a model and do the testing and then deploy the model and then do inferencing. It's a lot of things. All these things combined is actually your SageMaker is actually going to ease it for you. But now
Mhm.
actually we evolved out of that also. I believe that uh, at least definitely there will be companies who are still the SageMaker is very relevant and it's very important. And for example,
Mhm.
for Sharat's company, they're actually trying to build models to predict molecules, right? It's the molecule structures in general. There, they have to build the models, they have to train the models, and they have to use the models. There, definitely in these kinds of places, different ML pipelines and SageMaker and these kinds of things will work. But
Mhm.
for example, a company like a small e-commerce company, why would they actually go through all the pain of setting up an AI model when their daily task is to actually go and sell the stuff? They just want a tool which can actually enhance their stuff. That's it. So
Okay.
I believe that AI's, I mean, SageMaker will still exist in the industry, being used by 5% of the people who are trying to build models. But more than 95% of the industry will be using the models. They are doing inferencing, not training the
Mhm.
models. So I believe that the new, I mean, it's like it's gonna. I mean, new breed of applications or past solutions should come to fill that gap. And that's what even Hari was talking about.
Okay. Okay. That was it. Actually, I would love to if anyone in the audience as well, if they really want to explore further in this, and I would love to collaborate with them as well into like possibility of like generative AI and like with respect to provisioning infrastructure. And people should actually look for a few managed services as well. Like there are like AWS recognition as well. Like it helps you with like uh, uh, auditing your images and videos basically. Um, so I feel like such tool and more such like tools like can help in building this kind of a thing. But not sure how you're gonna save. Let's see.
Sure, Shubham. By the way, guys, I didn't introduce Shubham properly. He is running Outpost. He's building a PaaS, which is based out of Kubernetes, and he's running the entire infrastructure using automation on his own. Shubham, thank you for joining us, dude.
Thanks, man.
And by the way, Hari is very much interested in building such thing. You guys can collaborate. I know for a fact that he is interested, so I'm connecting you right away. Hari,
Okay.
I think he's on mute. Hari. Okay. Anyway, he's on mute, I think, or away from keyboard. I'll connect you both, guys. And by the way, whoever is actually interested, please, you can directly drop a message to me or, anyone, even Shubham or Anshuman or anyone. You'll be able to, you can collaborate. And by the way, Shubham already contributed to a lot of open source projects. He'll be easily able to contribute to build a small POC and start testing these things out. Swetha?
Yeah, guys, any more questions? I think there is only one unanswered question which could be answered by Sharath, but he couldn't come. Ramya actually asked a question where the question is actually what are the challenges or limitations in the implementing AI in infrastructure management when it comes to biological considerations? And how can they overcome this? I think this question would be answered better by Sharath.
Yes, I would say if Yakub is here, I think he'll also answer. You can answer.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Yakub is not here, I think. Hmm. Okay.
So, chalo guys, okay then.
Thank you guys for your time. And
Thank you, Karthik, for your thoughtful insights and patiently answering all the questions. And I should really thank the audience for tuning in and supporting our podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Karthik. Thanks, Swetha.
Thank you. Okay, guys, then see you guys on another interesting episode. Thank you for joining our Bias Labs community. For further updates, join our Discord community and our LinkedIn. As soon as this podcast will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, you can listen it there and we can answer your questions in the comment section also. Thank you, guys. It was actually a really wonderful experience.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it from my side.
You guys, nice catching up.